Budapest, Monday, May 2011. Layers of memories echoing after 62 years. 5 names, 7 schools, and 15 homes. Wife, mother, grandma, divorced and remarried, environmental policymaker in the state of Maine. Who was I? An only child living in Hungary with mother. In 1949, a shy schoolgirl, survivor of the Nazis, as Esti E. Galambos, 11-year-old Gönci Esti, became Esther Ganci, immigrant in Knox, Indiana, no English but a future in the great melting pot. Now, May 2011, we arrive at Ferihegyi Airport at 12 a.m. I'm excited by all the signs in Hungarian. I hear my mother tongue on loudspeakers. Amazing, I am home. From my open mouth flows fluent Magyar. Dormant dendrites and neurons miraculously activate. A clerk directs me to the minibus desk in English, and I respond in easy Hungarian. She apologizes. In 4 short days, scrims of memories are removed, revealing a vibrant, recovered Budapest of today. On foot, bus, or car, a beautiful modern city, still there with its legendary but not so blue Danube. It is March 1949, and what I do in the text is I italicize the memory parts, but that you don't see, but you can tell.
Yeah.
It's March 1949, gawky Esti, almost 12, being groomed as a young communist pioneer. Goodbyes to grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins. They are now memories. We are off to America. Taken out of Budapest 6th grade in March, dropped into Indiana's 6th grade in April, no English to speak with, no friends, desperately hoping I'll wake up at home. Tuesday, May 31st, 2011. My dream comes true. Signs, announcements, people on the street, even little kids speak Hungarian. I am home. I translate for my British-born husband. Gone is the tedious bureaucracy, passports, visas, as in earlier visits in 1973, 89, and even 97. My scrims show the Iron Curtain Budapest, dimly lit, gray pallid, red stars on public buildings. Now, our minibus approaches the nighttime city, as if driving from Charles de Gaulle or Heathrow, all lit up with garish ad signs and enticements for international corporations. No red stars. We cross the Danube to Buda over Elizabeth Bridge, a theatrically lit chain bridge and others beyond. I glance back at the statues and reminders of early conquerors and the glory of pre-war Budapest. Our welcome at the Hotel Crystal, a restored villa, was warm and very personal, even at 1 a.m. Gone was the grim surliness of the communist era. Our bedroom, a small but inviting nest for 4 days. Wednesday, we are picked up by Bauer Peter in his red Toyota. We 2 74-year-old buddies with spouses head back to our shared childhood home, and I have pictures of Napraforgó.
Where you grew up.
Yeah. Inseparable were we from 1938 to 44, ages 1 through 7. The red brick Bauhaus, once a duplex, now handsomely restored into one home, still there, just as I remember it, but more elegant. Napraforgó utca, and then parenthesis, turning towards the Sun Street.
Turning towards the sun, see.
Kilenc. And she was there. You were there. Peter was there too, I think. You don't remember? Lost a big willow tree on our side of the garden, but found a big walnut tree behind a tree Peter planted on their half. We 2 old buddies, graying parents and grandparents, happily reminisce in our new, modernized old home. We went in. Together we mourn again our lost parents, dads at the hands of Nazis in World War II, and our mother in the 90s to cancer. Our mothers in the 90s to cancer. We rejoice in the present, children and grandchildren. Peter, a city kid with tears in his aging eyes, recalls 2 bucolic summers spent with mother and me on what was left of the family estate after the war and the communists. We were survivors, children aged 8 and 9. And there's a picture of me that you can look at later at that age, out on Chandros. After a brief visit for aperitifs in his comfy, familiar home, but not at Napraforgo, but in Pasharet, in Huvesvöld, Cool Valley, we dine at nearby restaurant. After yearning with nostalgia for good old home cooking, I immodestly conclude that mine is more authentic and tasty.
Yours is more what? Authentic.
Authentic and tasty. than the
I would be
restaurant.
surprised. They have changed over the time.
Yeah,
It's not as
that's right.
quite
It's
as
not as
Hungarian
no.
as it used to be.
Okay, so saying sad goodbye, we took the same trolley that I rode so often to my grandparents' house. Impressive, efficient public transportation, updated, but still there, now free for seniors. As long as you're Hungarian, but if you're foreign, then it's not free. So we told Marty to shut up.
That was a feat.
Yes. Back at the Hotel Krista, with nary a pause, we are picked up by a new upscale car by Yonchi, my dear cousin-in-law, widower of deceased cousin Aniko from my father's side. We fondly recall summering with our budding 8, 9, and 11-year-old kids and spouses on Lake Balaton in '73. Holvana Kulch, where are the keys, was my son's only remembered Hungarian, and he still says it. We were all looking for the keys, always. Yonchi with his joie de vivre, a little younger than I, still practicing his geriatric medicine, fluent in English with a wry sense of humor, takes us up to the Gellert Hill, one of Buddha's hills. And I hear some of you are going to Budapest, so this will be a prelude for you. He is saddened by many losses, his son, wife, sister, mother-in-law, my aunt. He, with twinkling eyes and ever-ready humor, I enjoy bringing Barclay into this renewed connection. We view iconic sites, the ancient castle, home of kings, alongside the Danube with its 7 bridges. St. Margaret Island, where young Stuart and Tony mystified local Hungarians with a game of baseball in '73.
Baseball. Never heard of
baseball, what is that? We dine outdoors under a tent on the hill, look over a sun-setting Danube at well-lit Pest. We listen to gypsy music, yes, old and corny. We savor memories of friends, families, and history. Next day, Thursday, we rendezvous with Lenard Marta, who is our my cousin.
Common niece, yes.
Lovely 30-something sole carrier of the Lenard family name, formerly Lischan. She meets us under the big clock on Moscow Square. Now Moscow Square has changed its name.
From Szélkámán tér.
Yes, that's right.
Right.
I remember passing through this famous hub, coming in from Huvesvöld, excited to be going to my grandparents' family home in urban downtown Pest. Now, down to the subway, graffiti-free mosaic walls. We rattle deep under the famed Danube. First stop, Pest. The escalator tosses us up to Parliament Square's impressive historic spaces. Marta, Barclay, and Esty, a little breathless, sitting on a wooden park bench, we bond, family for the day. Marta calls me Esty Neni. It was a shock to my sister.
Yeah, yes, it means.
Nenis were only for old people. All of a sudden I'm Esty Neni. It's like you're going back and somebody calls you Anna Neni. Yeah. We watch as municipal workers gather for a public discourse or demonstration, surely a sign of civilized new times, never seen under Nazis or communists. Marta subtly guides us on our historic walk. Around the corner is Szabadság tér, it means Freedom Square, the scene of poems and gunfire leading up to declarations of independence in 1848 and 1956. Not mine. We next approach the family home of my ancestors, Bálvány utca 22, now called Október 6 utca. I remember staring out of those windows at Aranyánus, now a sidewalk cafe. We passed many busy street-level shops, much changed since '97, and I have a picture of it in '97. Gone are the bullet holes of 44 and 56, as well as the gray miasma of the communist era. My heartbreaking memory of summer in '44, I go downstairs with my father to watch him walk down the street. He has a uniform with a knapsack on his back, and he has been called up to serve in the war. With the foreboding of a 7-year-old, I watch as he gets smaller. I'm left alone. I think I will never see him again, and so it was.
Esty, if you can show the pictures, I can zoom in on them and it can be
Oh.
captured in this video.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Now? Okay,
As
I
you
will
go
from
through
now
it,
on. I will
you
from
know.
now on.
Yeah.
Okay. We enter 22 through the arched gates, and actually the cover is that.
Mhm.
Okay.
Beautifully restored. Beautifully restored.
This is where is that? Where?
October.
Oh, I see. Of course, of the building. Yes,
Yes,
of course.
yes.
Of course, I can see it now. Yes, of course.
We enter 22 through the arch gate with its familiar wrought iron lamp above. The courtyard is now restored to a former elegance, tastefully landscaped with birch trees, shrubs, and flowers.
Right.
It
Yes.
was never that beautiful before, I think.
Yes.
The four-square European apartment building with each balconied side of the quadrant looking inward to a central courtyard. I once played on this staircase, a happy child. The house, built for great-grandfather Gold Zsigmond, treasurer of the Austro-Hungarian Bank in 1812, is now on the Register of Historic Buildings. Impervious to wars and politics, it is still there. You recognize that refrain. It's still there. My mind goes into flashbacks circa spring 1944. Suddenly summoned by a fearful air raid siren, we run across the cobbled courtyard to the coal cellar, now bomb shelter, for distracting games with grown-ups. Innocent Esty, fun, games, songs, laughing with strangers, safe with mother, father, and cousins, telling old stories. Not my grandmother, who refused to budge, is staying upstairs. We children live with a mixture of adventure and fear. Nagyon, do you know that? She refused to go to the... she yelled and she screamed and she stayed up there.
She was one of the most stubborn old ladies that
I am not going
existed.
anywhere.
Most stubborn, absolutely stubborn, and she never budged. If she believed something, that's the way it is going to go as far as she's concerned.
That's right. She survived.
Right.
Martha and I lead Barclay to a staircase to the right. Foot-worn grooves on the red stone are deeper now, and there's a picture of me standing there on at the staircase.
Mhm.
Memories of playing dolls interrupted by sirens, mother calling me, supper's ready, for the last time, in fact. Now, the next section is Escape from Nazi-infested Budapest, and some of you don't know this story, actually. I mean, even the older generation doesn't, because I never told it. While not yet in a ghetto, by eventual Nazi order, my family gathered in our yellow-starred Jewish house in downtown Pest. Much whispering among adults, Elvite Bertust, she was taken away. I mean, I just picked this up in the background. It was a summer evening, July 1944, when cousins Hetty, 18, beautiful and much admired, drummed into my 7-year-old head the Our Father and the Hail Mary prayers. Our life hung on denying our past. The real Esty and her kind might not survive. Henceforth we would be Catholic, and my new name would be Galambos Esty. Hetty remembers that night so vividly. 7-year-old Esty sitting next to their bed under the huge old grand piano. My indoctrination took about 3 hours. And Hetty and Dolly are alive in New York City, and Hetty just revels in I read it to them too. She remembers every minute of it.
She remembered it. She
Yes,
remembered
she remembered
it.
it very
Yes.
much. I was 7. I was born in 37.